Right. So welcome to the Python online sessions. Uh, so in the previous session, we were discussing about the string operators. So we started with the string definition, the two types of string. Okay? So single line and multi-line string, and various operations, string concatenation with the help of arithmetic plus operator, repetition, the asterisk with repeatedly concatenate at the input. So, and also it supports the commutative property, right? Indexing to locate the position in the memory is used, right? So the string indexing supports the traversal of the elements from left to right and also in the reverse format, right? Uh, During the left to right traversal, every position is incremented. In the reverse position, it is decremented. Right? Slicing is applied to obtain the substring, a portion of a complete text. So the slicing is represented by a colon symbol, which has two input. To the left, we have the initial value, and the right to the colon will represent the final value. So, and they are accessed from 0 to n minus 1. I mean the initial position to n minus 1. Okay, and the string size is calculated by using the function length. Len function returns the number of characters present in the string. So it will be an integer value. And we also discussed the peculiarity function. Okay, that is operator. We'll check the uniformity, whether both the strings are identical or not. So the peculiar operator is okay, similar to the equal to operator in the logical operators, right? In this session, we are going to discuss about the list, tuples, and dictionary. Okay. Okay. So what is a list? We start with defining the list. A list contains elements of different data types. Okay, the purpose of the list to collect different data types. So before we visit a mall or provision stores, what will you do? Our first step is to pick a paper and note down all the requirements. So we prepare a list which covers all the household items or personnel, then others. Okay, so it will have a combination of data that represents different types, right? So ranging from one area to another area, and cosmetics, okay, and the pulses, rice, oil, the other things, dress materials. So a list contains data of different types. And values stored in the list are separated by comma. Each data are separated, differentiated by using the symbol comma. Okay. And the integration of the list are enclosed within a pair of square brackets. So kindly note, we will be using a different symbols to represent a group. Okay, so list, which is a composition of a collection of different data items separated by commas and enclosed within a pair of square brackets. Okay, so open square bracket and its counterpart, the right close square brackets. So the list which represent inside the square brackets separated by comma are called list. Okay. The value stored in the list can be retrieved by using the slice operator. Okay, slice operator, we have seen the colon, right? So colon is a slicing operator used to retrieve the substrings. So similarly, the data members are retrieved. If a list has 10 members, and if we don't want to access all the 10, we like to have only selective, our choice, for example, 3 or 4, and they could be retrieved by using the slice operator. Okay, and the plus will always be used to concatenate two or more lists. Okay, and also asterisk to repeat, to duplicate the list, we can apply the asterisk operator. Okay, so basically list is a collection of different data types stored with separated by comma and enclosed within a pair of square brackets, right? And the lists are retrieved, accessed, manipulated by using slice operator, concatenate operator, and asterisk operator. I mean the repetition operator, right? So for example, list one, we have a combination of different data types. We are searching a string 678, a integer value, 20.4, a float value, against Saurav, a string value. So different data type elements integrate to form a list separated by commas and enclosed within a pair of square brackets. So such a combination is called list. Is it clear? Let us take one more list, so which has only two data elements, members, one integer and another is string. Okay, as said, we can access the list with the help of slice operator, concatenate operator, and repetition operator. Okay, so for example, print list. So the print function will accept the input. So the input, listen here, list one is a variable. Okay, list one is the name of the variable represent a list. So why we say it is a list? Because elements are collected, okay, integrated and represented within a pair of square brackets. So any data types, okay, are enclosed within a pair of square bracket is called a list. So the list is assigned to a variable. List one is a variable of list type. List type. So the print function accepts a variable, and so the members of the variable will be displayed. So we'll be having the output of Sachin, comma 678, comma 20.4, comma Saurav. Okay, and print list of one. Now, what will be the output of this statement? Print a list of 0. List 1 of 0. Any guess what will be the output of this statement? List 1 of 0. Okay, so list 1 is accessed. List 1 is accessed. So let us check. Open an editor, right? We start type also. The first statement list 1 is equal to open square bracket. We have searching, comma. Okay, so 678, any integer value, and 10.5 and float type, and another string, Saurav. So string could be represented with the help of a double quotes or single quotes, right? But that should be uniform, right? So the second list, 2, will have another value, right? Let us assume some other value, 4, 5, 6. Right. So print list of 1. Okay, that was the first statement. Next statement, print list 1 of 0. Right. Run the program. So before running the program, we must ensure, are there any red underline? Did we have any typing mistakes? Okay, knowingly or unknowingly. So it's a good practice to, before executing a program, running a program, you can have a glance. to check whether there are any errors, mistakes, typing issues in the statements. So there are no problem. We run the program, we get. So list 1 of 0, set indexing. So 1 of 0 represents the first element, indexing value. So list 1 of 0 represents the such in the string. Okay, so you may notice that print list 1. This displays the complete details, the data members of the variable list 1. Okay, so a string is represented with the help of double quotes or single quotes. But Python 3.9, okay, it accept the string enclosed in between single quotes. So irrespective of whether we use double quotes or single quotes, okay, so the interpreter will result the string enclosed in between a pair of single quotes. Fine. Okay. Now next, slicing operation. So indexing is done. Next, we would like to check the slicing operator. Slice operator is represented by colon and supported with the two values, initial value and the final value. So while slicing, then it will take the values from the initial value to n minus 1. So print a list 1 of 1 colon 3. So what will be the output? So any guess? Print a list 1 of 1 colon 3. 1 colon 3. So initial position is, indexing position is list 1 of 1 and n minus 1. Right? Right. So print list 1 open square bracket 1 colon 3. Right? So list 1 of 1. I said memory is accessed from the initial value 0, 1. Okay, indexing 1 represents 6, 7, 8, 2, okay, and 3. So while accessing the value, it is from initial value to n minus 1. So 1 to 2. 1 to 2. So indexing list 1 of 1 is 6, 7, 8. List 1 of 2 is 10.5. So let us run the program again and check the output. Okay, so list 1 of 1 slicing operator 3 results 6, 7, 8 and 10.5. Okay, so have you ever noticed the output? What is your observations from the output? Just to go through this output and share your observations. So print, we have 3 print functions. The first function, print, display the complete data members. The second print function selects a indexed value 0. The third print function uses slice operator and retrieves the value that falls in the range of initial and the n minus 1. So accordingly, we have got the output. Now, what is your observation? So from the output, which is displayed in the lower compartment, can you share your observations? Yes, I have got few responses. Good. Yeah, correct. So Mehul Jain has come with the right answer. In case if the output is a single data, there is no special characters. So more than one data members are represented by square brackets. If it is a single data member as an output, okay, then there won't be any representation of square brackets. Got it? So let us have one more example, 0 to 4. Okay, let us change it again and check. Right. So we have 1, 0, the first indexed value. The second means 1, list 1 of 1, list 1 of 2, and list 1 of 3. So we have is nothing but a print list 1, starting value and n minus 1. When there are more than 2 members in the output, so they are enclosed in between a pair of square brackets. If it is a single data member resulted, then it is an optional, so there is no need to represent. So the presence of square bracket is an optional one in case of a single one output. More than one will have the enclosing of the square brackets, right? Now what will be the output here? Let us take 6. Print list 1 of 0, the initial value is 0 and the final value is 6. The upper limit is 6. What will be the output? Will we get output or no output or error? So there will be only 3 options. Either we should get the output or no output or errors. Or if you have any other answers, then you can post it in the chat window. Yes. Okay. Yes, sir. Let us end the program. Okay. So no matter whatever be the upper limit, the upper limit value. So the Python interpreter will already list 1. Okay, that is why I started with the representation of indexing. Indexing by default starts from 0, the memory location, 1, 2, 3 up to n minus 1. Even if we have the slice operator, upper limit any value, okay, but the Python interpreter will consider only the existing value. Even if we have, okay, 1000, doesn't matter. It is a valid integer, isn't it? So the upper limit is greater than the lower limit. So obviously it is a valid value. Okay, so irrespective of the upper limit value, the Python interpreter will consider only the existing maximum value 0, 1, 2, 3, 0 to 4, the maximum limit will be considered. Okay, if it beyond the range, above the range, it will be ignored. And the minimum upper limit will be considered, that is up to 4, irrespective of the value. Because 1000 is a valid and it is a positive value. Okay, that could be used as an upper limit, doesn't matter, right? But the interpreter will consider the existing upper limit value and accordingly the results are displayed. Okay, let us run the program and check it again. No change in the output. So the Python interpreter will consider only the existing upper limit, irrespective of the user's limit. Doesn't matter. Is it clear? Any doubts? Oh. So now we are keep on typing the output, right? As you say, whenever we add more statement, it would be done. So after completion of all our work, if this output window are no longer required, we want to switch over to some other program, right? For example, if you want to delete it, I have deleted, but the output remains. Output remains in the lower compartment. I can type new program, but and the output will change. But this output existence of the output is a dynamic one. It cannot be removed. So this interpreter, the editor, Python have a provision. So can you notice upward arrow, downward arrow, stuffed wrap? We have scrolled to end, print options. If you like to use it in the future for reference, we can select the print that will direct you to the printer, connected printer. We can have a hard copy. Okay. Otherwise, if we don't want, if the output are no longer required, the last option, the last icon, clear all. Okay, so by clicking then the existing output will be erased, removed. Okay, so once it is done, have you noticed it? The clear all option has turned its color. Earlier it was black and now turned to gray. Okay, so whenever you find a gray, which means the output window is black. Okay, when you type a statement and execute, it will turn to on position. That is, it will turn its color. Right, right. Now let us move on next. So list one plus list two. So both the strings are concatenated. It's a simple string concatenation operation, right? And list two into two repetition. Okay, so the list two is not applicable to simple string but also to list. So 4, 5, 6 Rahul will be repeated twice. Fine. Okay, so let us check with this. Let me type again. Right. So print list one plus list two. Okay, so the two lists are integrated, concatenated into single list. And now the list two into two. Repetition operator twice, two times we like to repeat it. Run the program. Have you noticed the clear all option still it is gray? Okay. Now run the program. Run the program and keep on watching either it changes its color or not. Now run the program. Have you noticed now it has turned to black? Okay, so earlier it was gray, now turned to black because we have got the output in the lower compartment, right? So print list 1 plus list 2. The two lists are integrated. Sachin 678 10.5 plus Saurav 456 and Rahul. So the two lists are integrated into single. List 2 asterisk 2 repetition concatenation, repetitive concatenation. 456 Rahul, 456 Rahul has been concatenated repeatedly and displayed as a single list. Single list. So all the members are separated by comma. Right? Okay. I hope you have understood the concept of list. Right? Fine. Now moving on, the next topic is tuples. Okay. Please note it is pronounced, should be pronounced as tuples. You can also pronounce as call it as a tuples. There's nothing wrong in that, right? Fine. What is a tuple? A tuple is another form of collection where different types of data can be stored. List is also a collection of different data items. Tuple is also a collection of different data items. Then what differs? What is the difference between two tuples and list? It is similar to list where data is separated by commas. The similarity between the common feature exists between the list and tuple list. They are separated by commas. Data member, okay, the input are separated by comma, and the difference is a tuple uses parenthesis, whereas list uses square bracket. Is it clear? So all the list, the data member are enclosed in between a pair of square brackets. It is called list, whereas tuple uses parentheses. Okay, so tuples are enclosed in between a pair of parentheses, left parenthesis and right parenthesis. It cannot be changed at any point of time later. Right? If it's a square bracket, it is called list. Instead of square bracket, if we use a pair of parentheses, it's called tuples. Okay, and it also support the same operations. A print function will display the result of all the items. So instead of square bracket, we have parentheses in the output because it is a tuple. Tuple 1, tuple 2. Print tuple will have the display of the complete tuples. Okay, so print functions, indexing, then slicing, then concatenation, okay, and repetition, all common, okay. So this list tuples are almost similar, except one difference, that is the parenthesis. Fine. Okay, so let us again modify, or let us have another program. Please copy it. Okay, right. So we should have TUPLE, right? We should use the same terminology instead of tuple, right? Tuple to, right? So we need to change here everything, right? Tuple to, so we should be very careful while typing to not make any mistakes. Of course, the mistakes are indicated as with the help of right, red underline will help us. Will use as a assistant to correct all our mistakes. Okay, so hope we have done. Right. So let us check. The output remains the same, except the representation of parentheses instead of the square bracket. Can we run the program and check? Yes. Right. Is it clear? So the output the same, except the representation of parentheses. So tuple is another mechanism to store different data elements, okay, and which are separated by comma. List and tuples are almost the same, except the difference is the tuple uses parentheses, open and close parentheses, instead of square bracket in case of the list. So accessive printing, indexing, slicing, concatenation, and repetition, all the operators, string operators, are common in both cases. Right? I have also, I don't know how many of you have noticed, the right, the upper limit is black. In the slide I have projected the upper limit as a black. Yes. If in the absence of the upper limit, what will be the output? In the absence of upper limit. So we have lower limit, right? The initial value is 2, slicing operator, and we don't have upper limit. What will happen when we run the program? Okay, what will happen to the output? Any guess? In the absence of upper limit, what will happen? Any guess from your side? Yeah, full tuple will come as an output, full tuple. Okay, so in this case, in this, as per this statement, I can modify it, make it 1 colon, that slicing operator, and no output, blank output. Okay. In case if we fail to enter the upper limit, as said, Python is an intelligent language, very smart language. It will assume, assume what? The maximum value, indexing value 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, maximum value -1, that is 4. So the print function assumes the maximum value of the indexing part. So here is it is expected to result 1 to the last, which means virtually the last value. Okay, so print tuple 1 tuple 1. Okay, tuple 1. So, yes, tuple 1 colon the maximum indexing value, the upper limit 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so all the values will be by default considered. So notice 6, 7, 8, 10.5 and several. Okay, the indexing one, tuple 1 of 1, tuple 1 of 2, and tuple 1 of 3, the last value. Right? Okay, I have not included both initial value and the upper limit. There is no lower limit and the upper limit also absent. In such case, the result remains the same. As a Python interpreter is not enough to pick the default value. Default value will be always indexing 0, tuple 1 of 0, colon, tuple 1 of the last value. So run the program and we check tuple 1 of 0, searching 6, 7, 8, 10.5 and several is nothing but print tuple 1, the same. Got it. So slicing operator is used to pick substring. So we need to specify the lower limit and upper limit. If it is blank, by default, it will take the least value as a lower limit and the maximum, the last value data as upper limit. That's the meaning. Is it clear? Any doubts? So tuple and another form of collecting the different data items similar to list by separating the data by commas, and the difference is it uses parentheses instead of square bracket. Right? Moving on to the last topic of today's session is dictionary. We all know from across, we have referred several times the dictionary. So to learn something, to find the equivalent meaning, opposite, if you like to have any doubts on the literature part, we used to refer dictionary. So in the school days, we are all advised to have a pocket dictionary, Oxford English pocket dictionary, okay, which was believed to be the most, the highest number of book circulated among the student community is the Oxford English Dictionary. Fine. Uh, so dictionary here in Python is a collection which works on key value pair. Okay, so kindly note that term. That is the reason I have highlighted this term, key value pair. Dictionary is a collection of data items, works on a mechanism called key value pair. Okay, it works like an associated array. Right? Dictionaries are enclosed by curly braces. Okay, dictionaries here are enclosed by curly braces and values can be retrieved by square brackets. Right? Values are retrieved by using the square brackets. Okay. For example, dictionary. We have defined a variable called dictionary is equal to a collection of different data items. Okay, that works on key value pair, key and value. So every data has two elements. Number one, key followed by value. Okay. And the key and value pair will have the combination of a colon operator, colon. As you see, it's a first item, okay, having a key and value. The key of the first item is name and its corresponding value is Charlie. You got it? A key and its corresponding value. Okay. Both are concatenated with the help of colon operator. Colon operator. Please note colon. So in this case, how many key value pairs are there? So first key value pair, the second key value pair, and third key value pair. Okay. The key and value can have a valid data types, either string, character, integer, or float, any data. Okay. If it's a string, must be enclosed in between colon. Integer, no issues. Float will have a fractional part. Right? So the dictionaries are enclosed by a pair of curly braces. Curly braces. Right? So in the list and tuples, there are different items separated by comma, whereas a dictionary is completely different from list and tuples. In dictionary, the input works on key value pair. So the every two members of the dictionary are number one key. Key is a general term. Value assigned to the key. For example, name. So the three keys present in the dictionary are name, ID, and department. And its corresponding value are Charlie, 100, and IT. Is it clear? So print dictionary will have the result of all the values. Okay, so can you check it? Can you check? Okay, will be a last exercise, right? So dictionary 1 is equal to, right, starts with the curly brace, right? Okay, so the first key could be a single quote or double quote. Okay, name, colon, key. The key is name and the value, right? Value, let be a string. Okay, okay, Djokovic, comma, the second key value file. Second key value, let us take a string, country, colon. Okay, are you aware? Djokovic is the number one tennis player, and he's from, any idea? He's from which country? It's Serbia. Comma. The third. Okay. Uh, one. Fine. Print DICT one. So dictionary holds the data in the form of key value pair. So key and value, key and value can have either string in valid data type. It could be a string or integer or float, right? Run the program. Okay. So the print dictionary will have the display of the complete list. Right. So as it's a dictionary, the values are enclosed in between a pair of curly braces. Right. Now, print dictionary dot keys. We don't want to have the list. We want to pick some selected value from the list. What could be selected? So the entire dictionary is a group of composition of collection of key and value. I don't want the value. I would like to check only the keys, selective keys. Then we can use the function print dictionary dot keys. Print dictionary dot keys. So this statement will result the selection of retrieval of only the key value. Only the key value. Okay. So print dictionary D okay, DICT one dot keys function, right? So this statement will selectively pick only the keys. So the keys here are name, country, and play position. So the dictionary keys are mentioned, the name, country, and play. So since all the three keys are string, they are enclosed in between pair of quotes. Okay, and they are enclosed in between a pair of parentheses. So the keys, okay, dictionary key, a function that resolves the value with a pair of square brackets. Okay, now if you like to have to check only the values, okay, then we can have a modify in the statement. Why? Instead of key, we can have values. So this statement will pick only the input, the data supplied to the key, values supplied to the keys. Right? Correct. So dictionary values are Djokovic, Serbia, and the position is number 1. Okay. So all the key value are displayed with the help of one function, print function. Selectively, okay, substrings can be picked with the help of using the functions key and values. So dictionary is a special case where the data are represented in the form of key value pair. Okay, so that's why it is said I have mentioned works like an associated array. So overall, they are enclosed. The output is enclosed in between a pair of braces, and the values, selective values, either key or data, are retrieved by square brackets. Right? Okay. So that's all about this. With this, we have come to the end of first unit. We have completed unit 1. We started with introduction. Then we continued with print function, literals, different types of literals, operators, variables, input, output functions, string operations, okay, list, tuples, and dictionaries, and the implementation of concatenation, right, repetitive operators, indexing, slicing, and so on, right? And the next session, next week, we'll start with the unit 2, where we'll be having the programming concept. So with the basics understood, with the discussion of the basics, now we'll be moving on to the more programming part by having the decision-making statements, control structures, looping structures, and with more examples and case studies. All right, fine.